prayer, please.
Dear Lord, we come before you, thanksgiving in our heart for obedience, Lord. Thank you for this day and more days to come. Lord, forgive all our sins and those who trespass against us, forgive them, dear Lord. We're here for one reason, that's for the people, Lord, the people that you ordained. Know you look down, Lord, and you know our hearts and you know the reason, God. We thank you for all the blessings in Jesus' name, because Jesus died for one reason, and that is for the love. Let us learn to love one another. If we can't love, let us be kind to one another. In Jesus' name, I thank you for the blessing. I thank you for everything you give this community and this world. This is your word. You know all about it. In Jesus' name, we thank you.
Amen. Please join us in the pledge.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Joshua Quinn. Debbie Nutt. Debbie Odom. Shirley Anderson. Andy Bishop. Ashley Curtis.
Here.
Martin McDermott here. Matthew Pearson. We have a quorum.
All right. Has everybody had the opportunity to take a look at the agenda?
Move to accept the agenda.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passed. Has everybody had the opportunity to look at the February 28th regular meeting minutes? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Passed. All right, that brings us to old business. The Soggy Bottom Rental LLC map. Is there anybody here to represent that map? Mr. Hogan? Just introduce yourself and give us a brief description of what you have going on here.
Cynthia Smith is divided a 2.62 acre tract on Heights Lane into a 1.1 acre tract.
Is there anybody else here to speak on this map? Close the public hearing.
That's it.
Ms. Secretary?
Debbie Odom.
Yes.
Shirley Anderson.
Yes.
Andy Bishop.
Yes.
Ashley Ferguson.
Yes.
Martin McDermott.
Yes.
Joshua Quinn.
Yes.
It's unanimous.
Thank you. All right, that brings us into our new business. All maps have been advertised as required. That's, first map we're gonna see is the Missy Jackson and James Allen map. Is there anybody to represent? Please introduce yourself and give us a brief description.
Skip Moody was dividing Ranger track 3, 2 tracks, and brothers and sisters can put them in their own name.
Is there anybody else here to speak on this map? Public hearing closed.
Second.
Debbie Nutt.
Yes.
Shirley Anderson.
Yes.
Andy Bishop.
Yes.
Ashley Ferguson.
Yes.
Martin McDermott.
Yes.
Joshua Quinn.
Yes.
It's unanimous.
Thank you. All right, that brings us to the Brett J. Parent map. Is there anybody here to speak on this map? Please introduce yourself and give us a brief description.
Yeah. My name is Brett Tarrant. I live on Heights Lane, and I recently got some property surveyed on Highway 68 out of Jackson. I don't have the map, but I think it was 16 acres and was subdivided into 3 sections. presently own, tract 1B, but we separated the rest of the 16 acres, and I'm gonna plan on purchasing some additional land from this district.
Okay. And Vicky Holcomb is the owner currently?
Yes, sir.
Okay. We have a signature. Okay. Is there anybody else here to speak on that matter? Public hearing closed.
Motion to approve.
Secretary?
Debbie Odom,
Yes.
Shirley Anderson,
Yes.
Andrew Richard,
Yes.
Nancy Curtis,
Yes.
Martin Jones.
Yes.
Josh Overman.
Yes.
Thank
Thank you. Right, that brings us to our maps to consider under administrative procedures. This is a map that's being brought up, I'm just gonna preface this a little bit here. This is a map being brought up about Grace Lane. This map does not have anything to do with the total discussion that is one that people want to have right now. So we have a map to deal with as part of a regular procedure. There will be time here shortly to have some discussion. Thank you. All right, brings up the Grace Clinton property. Please introduce yourself and give a brief of it.
I'm Jeff Moody. It's a simple exchange of property. We're putting back up tract Y, originally was a 5-acre tract that the old Grace Nursing Home used to sit on. And about 15 years ago, we cut out an 1.5 acres out of the adjoining tract X that Mort Stock owns, and they wanted to put it back. So we're taking the 1.5 acres back out of the Grace Nursing Home lot, put it back in Mort Stock, so it's just an exchange of property. So it's going back to a 5-acre tract Y1, and then it's going back to what Mort Stock was bought, originally 62.86 acres. So we're just reversing it right back to what it originally was.
Mr. Moody, I have a question that's been brought to our attention, about your note number 4. The zoning of property. On reference map, which was your last map you did in, 08, there was no reference of zoning on that map.
Don't even cancel it.
I understand that. But as here, it's listed as zoning right now.
Well, that's the best thing I come up with. Y'all come up with something better, it's got any fact behind it, I'll change it. It was an existing nursing home last time, your current zoning ordinance is the only place that would fit is C2. Well, I'll put it under C2. The original zoning map that this parish adopted, it did not put a zoning on that, but for whatever reason, it marked care facility where Grace Nursing Home was. And again, if you look under your current zoning, the only place a care facility fits is C2. So that's just what the note I put on there. It really, again, has no relevance to the actuality of what it is moving forward, what these folks are here to discuss or anything else. We have to put zoning on these maps, as y'all know. And that was the best thing I could come up with, unless someone here, y'all, someone could tell me factually that it's not C2.
Or if there's tax assessor's office, I come up with it's divided in, commercial property.
Well, that's fine. My question is, what's that got to do with anything?
Well, if it's unidentified, we can't identify it as C2.
The assessor, that's just their purpose. I mean, the assessor office has absolutely nothing to do with planning matters.
Well, the fact is, it was never changed from A2, which is for anything over 3 acres, never changed to commercial, not formalized anything else. We just went through the same issue, on a different parcel. It doesn't transfer, it's not automatic to go from, I don't care what was on it. When we did the review of the maps, the facility was closed, so it wasn't marked commercial on the review 8 years ago. So so.
Well, that's, like I said, that's fine. If
I plan-
y'all are the board, so if you want to direct me to put it on whatever y'all think factually it needs to be, then I would just ask you to approve it contingent on me just changing this note.
That's all we want to do anyway, make it A2. And that's the consensus of the board.
That's fine. So, just so it don't hold up, I'll
No,
change the
I don't
note.
want to do that.
Or it goes to leisure, same thing with them, I'll change it after the fact, otherwise I have to collect all the maps and just walk through there and put this on day two. Or whatever y'all's pleasure is.
Anybody else to speak on the issue of this map? Closing the public hearing. With the public hearing. Need a recommendation on approving the map with the zoning, moving back to A2. That, the map states A2, it's not moving anything, it states A2, I said the wrong thing.
Okay, space A2, contingent upon review from whether actual. That's it.
Debbie Oden,
Yes.
Shirley Anderson,
Yes.
Andy Bishop,
Yes.
Ashley Burton,
Yes.
Rodney Durham. Yes. Josh Joker.
Yes.
It's unanimous.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That concludes our map. Do we have any other business that we need to discuss? All right, police jury representative, anybody here to speak for police jury on anything today?
No, but there are 40-something people out there that would like to have a chance to talk. at some
Dawn? All right, legal advisor, no legal advisor today. All right, that brings us to the public comment section here. We have quite a few people, I'm sure, want to make comments today. 3-minute time frame on the comments. Keep comments as respectful as possible. And what we will address, the way I'm gonna do this, I want everybody to keep in mind, we also want, you have people outside that want to speak too, everybody's just important with their comments. The way I'm gonna start with this, I'm gonna start on the right side of the room right here, and move from right to left of the room. So I'm not picking any one person first or anything. Show me a hands on this side of the room, who wants to come up and speak? Sir, right, come up. Introduce yourself and.
Thank you, sir. I apologize for not knowing each of you personally. I'm Donald J., nickname Pete, Charlotte, C-H-A-R-L-E-T, 5819 Jane Marie, exactly. What in the world am I doing here? I grew up here, I was raised here, my heart is in East Feliciana, my family members in East Feliciana, but technically I have no standing in the issue. But I do have an opinion and a desire I'm sorry, Donald J., nickname Pete, Charlotte, C-H-A-R-L-E-T, 5819 Jane Marie Street in Zachary, 70791. I value your prayer now, and I value each of you people serving. Part of your prayer had to do with love and kindness. I know you to have the authority, and I pray that you, with love and kindness, categorically deny the development of harmony behavioral petition. I think the facts speak for themselves. And I have done some research. I understand the process that you're tasked with, city councilman for 2 terms. I learned a lot. It was exciting. It was challenging. And I don't look over my shoulder from that service. I don't question what I said. Went in with dignity, I left with the same. And I know that you're here to serve, and I respect that, and I commend you for doing that. I think the facts dictate a denial, not prejudice. I'll leave it right there. Not prejudice, the facts. The developer has a right to develop, property owner to sell, and the community is obliged, and hopefully will continue to resist a development with such negative long-term ramifications. I know these are facts that you know, and I pray that you will, with kindness and love, deny your petition. Thank you very much.
Yes, ma'am.
My name is Marcia Kemp. I live at 5932 Highway 63 in Clinton. Lifelong person, actually born in the country a few years ago. I am a 38.5-year retired employee of the state of Louisiana. I worked at 3 of the facilities in Jackson: Eastern Louisiana Mental Health System, Feliciana Forensic Hospital, and Geriatric Hospital. Mental health is not something a pill will fix. My concern is that DCI can't keep employees. East Louisiana State Mental Health Systems cannot keep employees, and the forensic side cannot. I personally have been physically attacked by a patient. It's a dangerous place to work. These people are ill, some of them are not. They're malignant. I don't believe our community needs another mental health facility that has a swinging door. These patients were transferred supposedly to be restored to a less restrictive environment. Things happen and they're right back where they came from. My concern is you cannot find people who want to make a career out of dealing with mental health patients. I am met weekly with former employees of the forensic hospital who tell me the conditions are terrible. The new people that come in don't want to work. They're dangerous to work with. And they don't feel safe. I don't feel safe in that type of limited, restrictive environment for these patients. They need protection, and we do too. So I suggest that our community seriously consider this. And if it happens, we need to set stringent controls for our safety and theirs. Thank you.
My name is Will Andrews. I live on Bank Street here in Clinton, and just briefly going to speak. I'm opposed to this behavioral health development, to put it bluntly. And my concern is, I have a letter from the attorneys of Department of Behavioral Health that are San Quilla. And they, in their letter, are very lackluster at best about the facility security. And then I have the request for solicitation for the Louisiana Department of Health that clearly lays out what they're looking for, which is, and clearly lays out the type of patients that's there. And my concern is the attorneys for Harmony Behavioral Health are trying to paint a picture that another Grace nursing home with some dementia patients will be there. But that's not the facts. The facts are they're looking to house criminally insane or criminally mentally ill who can't stand trial and who are dangerous. And in their own words here, in their own letter, they are not concerned about security. In fact, they say the security, the Warren Taylor Price facility, which is what they want to call it, will have security that is equivalent to the security provided in nursing homes supporting long-term care for Alzheimer's patients and patients with other debilitating dementia conditions. In other words, the security is intended to prevent patients from wandering from the facility for their own safety. Let's see. There is no requirement for razor wire, barbed wire, or other enclosure materials that tend to provide the appearance of a criminal facility. This fact further supports the representation that Warren Taylor Price facility will closely mirror the operations of the Grace Nursing Home with Alzheimer's dementia wings. And that is not what the Department of Health and Hospitals has solicited and what they were trying to enter an agreement for. Thank you.
Can I get a show of hands who wants to speak on this side? Jeff.
How you doing? My name is Jimmy Sanders. I live on the corner of Grace Lane, right in Plank Road. And we just don't need that in our backyard. I'm used to walking out of my house at night in my yard. And with this facility behind us with those mental health patients, you fear for walking out your back door. The state have plenty of property where they can build those type of facilities. And I've been a bricklayer for 35 years. I worked at East Feliciana Parish Prison. I worked at Angola Prison, maximum security. And I know how those facilities are constructed for those type of people. Even the East Feliciana Parish jailhouse, that prison was built out of single 8-inch block, sand and gravel, with a rod coming up through every cell, with 2 rods running horizontal and poured with cement. And how you can keep a person, those type people in a place where you using sheetrock and wood in a facility like that? I mean, we don't need that in our neighborhood. And I don't think any of you all want it in your back neighborhood. So don't try to force it on us. I want you guys to do what I'm saying. And not only that, I'm dealing with something else too, but we're talking like this right now. I got 18-wheeler running right by my driveway, going into that building next door to me. And I don't know what they put in that building, but someone needs to come out there and find out what they're storing in that building, because I'm in my yard, I see them blowing out, and they got on a full face mask, they're blowing white stuff out the door in the air. Have you ever went and inspected what they're storing in that building?
Sanders, that's out of our hands here, planning and zoning.
But I'm asking y'all, please don't let those people put that psychiatric treatment behind our house and our neighborhood. And I don't think any of y'all up here want that in your back neighborhood. I've been living there 57 years, and I was there before the trailer place was put there next door. I was there before Mark Scott put the nursing home in the back. And this going to depreciate the value of the people's property that's living in that neighborhood. If College Temple want to go into that type of business, let him put it on his property. Don't bring that up. I mean, if he died him in Baton Rouge, so why he want to come up here? I mean, the man, you know, I had a guy visit my house the other day, and Darrell Allen, and I spoke with him, and I said, well, why Mr. College Temple didn't come up here and ask the neighbor what he was planning on doing? But he said he don't have to talk to nobody.
Mr. Sanders, I need to cut you off. I got a lot of people I gotta go through.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
I thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sanders.
Sheriff Travis, East Feliciana. I want to go back on record again, as I said at the last police jury meeting, that I'm totally against this. And I want to talk a little bit tonight about why. Well, first of all, the sheriff's office will have the ability, if it reaches that far, to put an impact statement in about what the impact is going to be on the sheriff's office, and I don't think that's going to be very good, because I'm very concerned about the impact and about
the public safety of the residents in the area. But I want to talk a little bit more about my background prior to being a sheriff, and that was being chief of operations for the Department of Corrections. And I know all about what privatization of a government function is. I've had first-hand knowledge at trying to manage that in the prison system, and that's exactly what we have here. Ms. Marcia Kemp talked a little bit about her experience being a forensic employee and understanding what's going on with the employees and things like that. Well, I have some outside experience too. My mother was the director of nurses for forensic before she retired, and I grew up hearing about all those things that happened. This is not good. Some of my questions are, why did the state not come if they were going to do a contract with a private provider? Because I know my experience in DOC, we always did that when it was something that affected the community. And I don't know why DHH doesn't feel that they had the responsibility to come before this community and say what we're trying to do. The things I read was like, this is what we want. They're not saying where it is. It's almost like they don't care where it's at. And I think the state has a responsibility to care where it's at and understand what's going on. Another thing that I don't understand is with all the state property we have in this parish, why couldn't they find a place where they're currently holding these kind of people to contract with a private provider if that's what they want to do? So again, I go on record saying I'm against it. I hope that the outcomes that you voted down and do not jeopardize the public safety of the good people of this parish that have to live here. Thank you.
Please give me a show of hands on this side. But now what I do want to do, we have a lot of people wanting to speak, so if we can have any that leave the room that are at that point or we're here for other business, I'd like to be able to give everybody an opportunity that we can. So who on this side, can I show of hands who wants to speak on this side? Sir.
My name is Dr. Jason Matthews. As you know, I am opposed to this operation as well. Most of us who reside here, that are born and raised here, we decide to stay here. One of the reasons we decide to stay here, other than our being rooted here, is because it's safe. That's one thing that we pride about East Feliciana, being safe. And we don't have some of the issues that other parishes do have. And another reason that I feel that this shouldn't move forward, because you take away that safety. You take away one of the reasons that we stay here. I've also retrieved documents from the Baton Rouge Police Department from various different properties and homeless centers that he's managed. Over 1,000 officers were not able to contain any of his facilities. As I stated before, over 15 years of operations, and he has not yet got it together where he can manage his facilities. Multiple outbreaks. So what would it take here in East Feliciana? If we allow this to happen, do we have to wait until someone is harmed? Because that's exactly what's going to happen. No matter how good the director of operations is, or the facility, guess what? The nature of the beast is that people break out. It happens. But this population is so much different from the population that you had. It even states in the documentation that we're talking about, from burglaries to other violent crimes, even murder. Even murder. Why would we put this in our neighborhoods? Why would we put it next to over 1,000 students? Why would we put it next to an elderly living facility? This is not what we need. So we definitely ask of you, if there's anything you can do to support our voice, to support our desires and our safety, the things that we stay here for, we ask that you do that. Thank you.
My name is Matthew Richards. I live at 9702 Grace Lane, the very dead end, about 20 yards from that back gate. I moved here about a year ago. We've been renovating me my life. We have a child coming in June, and I don't have to look over my shoulder every time I'm on my yard. I don't have to worry about my wife if she beats me home. I don't have to go in after we bring our baby back home and clear my home like I'm deployed. That's no longer a peace of mind to me. It's no longer a home. On top of that, I couldn't sell that place if I wanted to. There's no way that somebody wants to drive past that facility to a dead end, 20 yards back there, and stay behind there. Where do you think they're gonna go when they get out? Not to mention the bay they gotta open, it is at my driveway. That's where they're gonna deliver patients at. What happens when that gate isn't secured because you got an $8 an hour security guard that just doesn't care? Are they gonna come to my home? Am I gonna have to defend my home? It's a question, you know, all y'all gonna have to ask yourself. Are you gonna be willing to defend your homes? What are you gonna do if one of these people get out? I don't wanna hurt nobody else. But I don't want somebody trying to get in my home just because they don't know what's going on either in their mind or they have malice intent. What am I supposed to do? If I can't feel safe in my home, I can't sell my home, all my neighbors are gonna lose their money, their assets, their peace of mind, their safety. They don't want to have their kids out in the front yard playing. You're going to still see the buses come in. You're going to see the patients come and go. That fence that's there, that security mesh fence, I'm pretty used to it. We used to do it in Iraq. We used it in Africa. We used a lot of places to keep a lot of bad people out. That's what you want in the community? Is that something what you guys want?
No.
I mean, if you can do anything, we're asking you now. You know, that's all I gotta say.
My name is Ken McWhirter, live on Ottawa Road, on property right next to the old Grace Nursing Home. I'm not going to repeat what everybody else has said. I think everybody here is on the same page. And, but I would like to thank the zoning planning committee, because it sounds like you've taken some action tonight. It was potentially zoned as commercial, and that looks like it's agricultural too, is that correct?
We didn't make any changes.
You clarified. It's been clarified as A2, so that in order for anything to happen, permits, things like that, it would have to be rezoned, am I correct? Okay, and if it's rezoned, and I don't know if you can give me an answer or not, but would it be rezoned, commercial, industrial, or do you know at this point in time?
I don't think we'd know until somebody filed a permit in April.
Okay.
So on any official line right this second, we have nothing official at this second.
But it sounds like it is now zone A2. Okay. So I think everybody here is in agreement. We're beating a dead horse. Even the committee members all agree with us on this. We probably need to take the next step. Is anybody here doesn't agree that it doesn't need to be in this area or in our area?
So I want to correct something I just said. Just a second
Okay.
ago. On the assessor's map, the property is considered unidentified.
Okay.
It's taxed. It is never, the property has never been given a zoning designation.
Okay.
There's no zoning designation.
All right. Well, I think you realize the community doesn't want it, so. I'm not gonna say any more. I don't know if anybody else wants to add to that, but I think that's all. Thank you.
See a hand in the corner? Yes, sir.
I'm Marion Munn, 10297 Bank Street. Just like all these other people, I look around, I see the expression in their face, and I realize it. I do. A lot of them have small kids. I have grandkids now. But one thing I think you fail to realize also, both streets are dead-end streets. God forbid anything go wrong. We're blocked out. You might get to us with a helicopter, but anything goes wrong at that facility, grades into Bank Street, we're kind of in no man's land. And I plead with y'all to look and listen to all these people, and hopefully put it to good work. And I thank you for listening to me.
So we've been through the people, everybody spoke that wants to speak in the room. Alright, so we've been through everybody in the room that wants to speak. There are quite a few people outside who would like to speak as well. If anybody is willing to give their spot to somebody outside, we definitely can talk to people out. Greatly appreciate it. Yes. To make public comment about any issues they particularly want to have been based on basically one issue. We're going to do in 3-minute increments. Anybody who wants to speak, I'm going to come from the right side of the room. Please show up. Yes, there's some seats over here. Where people can have a seat. Is that it?
That's it.
That's it. All right, so what's gone on the last few minutes, we've had public comment where people can speak on basically whatever item they want to. We've been based basically on one item here. I'm going to start on the right side of the room, and with a show of hands at that point, we're going to move from the right side to the left side of the room for me. There was a map that came up that was on that property. It was handled as it should be. There was a discussion about a change of one item that's on that map. It actually has nothing to truly affect the discussion of what's going to be out there on Grace Lane. So although that is an agenda item. It didn't have anything to do with the facility itself and how it proceeds right now. All right, can I get a show of hands of who wants to speak on the right side of the room? That was good. Can I get a show of hands on the left side of the room who wants to speak? Sir?
I'm Steve Douglas, and we live in Evans Estates. And I don't have anything new to add to the discussion here, but, you know, to me, the issue is not, you know, profit here, it's a matter of safety. And I care about the safety for all the community here. And when you have people that have backgrounds that are mentally dangerous to the community, they may be anywhere from a thief to a murderer, that should be a concern to all of us. And I think everybody here is really concerned about that type of thing. And, you know, I don't know how we can bypass that truth, that principle for anything else. I mean, why do we have zoning in the first place? Is it to protect residential areas, to protect people? And to provide a better environment for those things that are actually industrially oriented? And it seems to me that, you know, we're getting more and more into profit than we are about safety for our children, our grandchildren. And to me, that's number one. That's what I care about the most. So I hope that you'll think about that and make that your priority, and not give in to those who want to make a profit. I'm not opposed to making profits, but not at the expense of people's safety. And I think that's got to be a major overriding concern. So I have to say thank you.
Hi, so I'm Paige Marshall, and I live on Plank Road, right on the other side of the property on Grace Lane. So if you look through the woods behind my house, you can actually see the lights of the old nursing home. In fact, I have a lot of wheelchairs at the edge of my property from the nursing home. I just wanted to kind of let you know the area that's around, which I'm sure you all do. But everyone out there has kids. I have 2 young children. I'm lucky enough right now that they can get off the bus and I don't have to worry about it. And I'm very concerned that that'll change. So that's really all I want to come and say. Think about your community.
Can I get a show of hands again? Who wants to speak over here, please? Sir?
Yeah, I'll just stand up and say it.
Please come to the podium.
Have to come to the mic.
Introduce yourself. That's part of talking. You gotta get right up in front of everybody.
All right.
Introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Chip Benson. I live on Jefferson Lane, which is off of Old Plain South. I second what both these people have just said, and I just want everybody to know that my opposition is to this project down there. I don't think it's good for the community, the schools. I'm opposed to it, my wife and I.
My name is Lakeebra Johnson, and I live on Grace Lane. And I just want you all to know that everyone has came out to represent our feelings about this issue within our community. And we feel that because you are our voice, we are looking for you all to make a decision and say no against this facility coming in our back door. We want to be able to continue to sleep at night. We want to be able for our children to continue to play. I have a child that get off the bus on Plank Road, and if so happen nobody is there, he's able to walk home and get home safe. What if in the event someone has escaped from this facility and just so happen my child is walking home? How would y'all sleep at night knowing that y'all voted to put this in place in a residential neighborhood where the safety and issues are concerned? I can stand and say a whole lot about this because I am a program director of 20 mentally ill men, and they range from different ages, and they range from sexual abuse, child abuse, anything, murder, all these things is up under there. So I can actually say what we're actually trying to get into our community. I know what they're capable of doing. And those fences, if they're angry enough or security is not on point, they're able to escape. So therefore, what are we allowing to come into our community? We can come up here and protest and say all we need to say, but at the end of the day, it's y'all choice to vote no against what's coming into our community. Would you all want it in y'all back door? We don't want it in our back door. It have other places that these facilities can be put in. Why not? I'm all for them, making a transition and things like that, but not in our community. Find somewhere else safe that these people can transition and whatever needs to be done, but not in our back door. We have kids. My mom and my father is elderly, and I'm gonna have to think about them every day and every night. How are we supposed to defend ourselves? If we start, when y'all allow this to come into our community, it's a...
Give me 1 second. So we're given a forum here because there were so many people that came to this meeting. As of now, there's nothing been brought to the planning and zoning. I cannot guarantee or do know that anything will be brought to the planning and zoning for us to make a decision and the people who are just sitting here in front of it. So when us being able to vote on it may never happen. Because of the outpour today, we're given a forum for people to be able to speak on it. So I just want to clear that up, just so it doesn't get too directed. I said in front of the other group, I didn't say stop in front of this group, but take a few more seconds because I interrupted you.
And so therefore, if you all allow this to come into our community, that means we're going to have to take actions to defend ourselves. And somewhere down the line, it's going to be an all-out war because everybody going to be wanting to defend their family, their property. So we as the community has come together and we're asking you all to be the voice of us and vote no on this matter.
And I live on Grace Lane. And I'm here to speak basically on behalf of the elderly and the schools of East Feliciana Parish because this psychiatric facility will be a big issue because of the fact that it's within 5 miles of 2 schools, it's within 5 miles of over 70%, which are elderly people. If these people get out, it's going to affect the elderly people in the way of they don't have the time enough to get to protection. They don't have the time enough to get anywhere to hide. And if they do, they're going to vandalize the neighborhood around them. And another thing, if they break out, it's going to open up a bad can of worms for everyone around. First, in the fact that it's going to have multiple people calling the police out, which is going to take them away from the East Feliciana Parish as a whole. Second of all, it's going to make sure if somebody break out, is the school's going to be alerted in time enough to go on lockdown in case something happens. Because I'm a mile runner, and I know if I run 2 miles in 10 minutes, that means in 5 miles, 25 minutes, they could get a long ways. I know that for a fact, because I have ran 5 miles in less than 25 minutes. So my thing is, I don't want anything to come back here to affect the schools, the elderly community, and anyone around.
My name's Lane Pearson, and I live down in the Evans community on Hillside Drive. And I'm kind of new to the area, but I don't think you can say it any better than this lady said it right here. I mean, she's got experience with this. She knows how these people are. And I know this is a forum to talk about this, and you're not making any decisions on this right now. But when time comes, you need to think about the people in the community and the safety of these people down here. I mean, we all know how cruel this world can be. I mean, we see it every day. We see the news and things seem like they're getting worse. We don't need to compound problems.
But anyway, I'm like everybody else in this room, and all those folks out here that are standing out here that are, that are concerned about this. We need to think about safety of our community, most of all. Thank you.
That finishes this side of the room. Is there anybody else that wants to speak? All right. That's gonna close our public comment section. And take motion to adjourn. Second. All in favor? Meeting adjourned. I asked everybody, who's out, because official business, so don't please.
How you doing? Good to see you. Thing I want to do is read that narrative about that.